Welcome to the Loner Ranger Radio Show. My name is Bruce Woodburn, the Loner Ranger, and alongside me I have my friend Cleve Loveland. Cleve is the co-host with me on the Loveland Report and Loner Ranger Radio Show on Saturdays. I know you're all familiar with that program where we talk about buying and selling real estate, and I'm so glad to have my friend here on my show with me so we can really get a full idea of what's going on in the market right now, because it really does matter when it comes to buying a home on how you can become the winning offer on that, right?
Yeah. Well, I see a lot of people now, you don't have as many offers to compete against, but multiple offers are still a serious thing. You know, the seller's got options. Not like you're saying, hey, take my offer or leave it. The seller's going to go, well, your offer's not that great. I might take another one. It's got a better price. It's got more money down. It's cash.
What do you think gets their attention? So when you're looking at all things even, what gets their attention?
Price would be number one, but then you got to look through it. You know, I see hundreds of offers every month. I mean, hundreds of all the home, and then sell my listings out of that. But, you know, the winning one is usually it's price, but also is the loan. I love what you do, fast tracking. And is that loan done? Have they just talked to the lender, a conversation on the phone? Did they even send me a pre-qual? You'd be surprised how many offers I get, Bruce. They didn't even send me a pre-qual.
You'd be shocked at how many people I talk to every day that think they're pre-approved.
And they just talk to somebody on the phone. Yeah,
they talk to somebody on the phone. They might have pulled their credit, right? So they're like, and I'm like, oh, you're fully pre-approved by blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I am. Great. So have you given them a copy of your W-2s, your bank statements?
Tax returns.
Oh, no. I've been banking with them for years. They know everything about me. They do not have that information, and they're going to need it. Here's when they're going to ask you for it. A week before closing, and then they're going to go, well, we can't close that fast.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's what's going to happen. It's ridiculous. But my fast track program is a big leap beyond a pre-approval. So most banks are going to pre-qualify you and you think you're pre-approved. They're going to have a conversation with you about your income, your debts, your credit, pull your credit report up, and then write you a letter and send you out shopping. That's what they do. Then the better companies will say, before I write the letter, I need to see your W-2s, your pay stubs, your bank statements. Send me your photo ID and physically apply for the loan. Because how can you be pre-approved for a loan when you never really applied for it?
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yep.
And matter of fact, I think it's malpractice. So we want to make sure the client not only is pre-approved, but we'll go a step beyond that. And that's why you love Fast Track. Fast Track means that I've taken your loan, all your information, I've reviewed it, then I've given it to my underwriter.
It's done.
And they've approved it. So now here's what that does for me. And here's why I'm going to tell you why Cleve loves it. Because I will call the listing agent and I will guarantee the listing agent that I'll close their loan in 30 and even 21 days, or I'll pay the seller up to $500 a day for every day I miss the closing.
And don't forget the icing on the cake, the call.
The call to the listing agent.
So,
yes.
and I don't, on my listings, I don't always have offers coming from you, but I love that. And when I know, and my buyer's agents love that when you do that for their buyers. The other thing I love, realtors, listen to this. When Bruce has a file, they are working on a mortgage for your buyers, it will be done. They will tell you this is a loan. This is going to be fast tracked, or no, they need to do A, B, and C, and then it will be a loan. I hate it when my agents used to drive around and they'd have somebody in the car and they hear about, oh, it turns out they couldn't qualify. Right. And that lender didn't do their job. So after using you for the last 13 years, I don't have my agents wasting any time with unqualified buyers.
Well, you know what? It's misleading to the realtors, to the seller. It's even misleading to the buyer who thinks they're approved. And you know, it's ironic. I got a transaction right now. It's a repeat customer. It's a repeat real estate agent. But the real estate agent is after me to write a pre-approval letter for this client. Now, he's got 3 companies, okay? And I'm pretty confident he's going to qualify. However, on self-employed people, you have to have a profit and loss and balance sheet that's current within 30 days. It's the guidelines.
Yep.
Every lender has to have it.
Yep.
It's the guidelines.
Yep.
He does not have it. And he's for every day, it's like, well, my CPA is busy. He's not available to do my profit and loss and balance sheet. You want me to write a letter and sign my name that I'm going to guarantee your closing, and yet you can't give me your financials. Now, I won't do it. I'll write a pre-qualification letter, but I'm not writing a pre-approval letter because my name's on it. And then I've got to close that transaction. And if your lender is doing that, you're the people that we hear about on the news who had the truck, the moving truck, the dog, the kids, and everybody lined up to go to closing, and it didn't close.
And there's no loan package. Yes,
that's the client. And we hear these horrible mortgage experiences. Well, you know what? There are some bad mortgage companies out there, but there are also people like me that say, I'm not going to do this until you are fully approved.
You tell me. I mean, you rescue deals from me. When I have deals fall apart on my listings, and what will happen is my transaction coordinator checks on the buyers on our listings. She'll check on them at least 2 or 3 times a week. And she knows, number one warning sign is when she does a couple emails and a call to the loan rep, and she gets no calls back for like 3 or 4 business days. Then she sets me loose on them. Right. And my phone call is, your buyer's going to lose this loan. I need to talk to your boss or you today. And if they don't call me back, then I call looking for the boss, because we've got a loan commitment date to reach. I've got seller getting ready to order that moving truck, and I don't have those things happen on my transactions. No. And if they did say, oh, wow, this lender can't get the deal done, we just found this out, I'm like, okay, tell me why. And they're like, oh, we're going to another lender. I'm like, no. You're not going anywhere.
As soon
but
as
over
you
to
say I'm
CrossCountry.
going to another lender, it always throws a red
Well, but
flag.
I've sent you over some, probably about one a month.
Lots of times.
And you tell me, and you rescue 90% of them. And then you're like, oh, whoa, this person should have never been in the car with the realtor beginning.
I'll know within about 15 minutes whether a client is truly going to qualify or not. So if you have questions about that, if you're uncertain of the lender, you're getting a lot of yes answers, but you don't feel like people are digging deep enough to make sure they protect your investment. Because as a buyer, if you're in contract to buy a home and you don't close on time, can the seller keep your money?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do they want to? No, they want to close.
They want to close. But if you strung that seller along and they turned down other offers to take your offer, and your lender said you were approved and now you're not.
Realtors, my rule of thumb to kind of avoid stuff like that, I get a big fat deposit. I like about 3-4 months mortgage payments. And it's, knock on wood, I haven't any of those fall apart. Because if they balk about it, I'm like, well, why? It's coming back to you.
Well,
you need it for your down payment.
Well, and if you're putting 10, 20% down, put 10, 20% into escrow. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Show you're serious.
And if you want to write the winning offer, then show the seller that you're willing to play the game. 407-706-3313. 407-706-3313. That's the Loan Arranger's number. That's my direct number. Or you can apply online at webringyouhome.com. If you want to buy a home, you want the best lender that's going to take great care of you, give you great service, be here. I've got loan officers available 7 days a week.
Yep.
Okay. And I have a client the other day say, can I stop by and see you at your office? Of course you can. I do personal meetings. I do Zoom meetings. I do telephone. I think I can do courier pigeons right now for a loan. We're going to send you over your pre-approval by courier pigeons.
I wonder what that coop was on the balcony out here.
You didn't know what that
overlooking Fairbanks
That's
here.
not chickens in there, although I would like to have some chickens. If you have questions for Cleve, you can reach him at 407-352-8118 or go to cleveloveland.com. We're always here to help you. The Loan Arranger also wants to talk about how to help different segments of the market that we have special programs for, like our law enforcement, our first responders, our educators, and our healthcare workers. So we've got a program because, the state and the federal government have no special programs for these folks. There are no programs. So we've got a program called Home Ownership Made Easy, where you can get up to $2,198 towards your closing costs. It's real money. Now, if you are a buyer and you're interested in getting that program and you don't have a real estate agent, you call me, because Cleve will also help you out on some closing costs. So if you're getting $2,198 from me, and let's just say that we're buying a $400,000 house, $350,000 house, they can get $1,000 to $2,000 credit from you. That's a lot of money in your pocket, and there's no strings attached to that.
Well, it's also getting it done right the first time. Most people are busy. They're buying a $400,000 house. They're probably working.
Right.
And they don't want to take a lot of time to do this. And I've seen people, when I get these offers I get on my listings, and I'll talk to the other agent, and they say, "Oh yeah, they're great people. I've gotten to know them real well. We've been in the car for 18 months and written 13 offers."
Oh my
I'm like,
gosh.
Okay, well that's why your offer is 20,000 below list. When I told you there's multiple offers, you need to be 20,000 above list. Right. So I really want people to, when you do the process right, it shouldn't take a lot of time. It should not be stressful. It's a little exciting. It's a little nervous, but it should be an improvement of your other housing situation. Most people are moving right now, Bruce, because the house they're in, they've been in for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Right. It's gone up. They got some nice equity. They're not really getting a bigger mortgage. No. They're taking that equity and just kind of transplanting it. They're getting a newer home, a smaller home, a bigger yard, whatever they might be looking for. And that's one thing. We got time. I want to mention one thing on
we do have a few minutes, because it's funny that you say that, because one of the things that people have gained is a lot of equity, so they have more money to put down.
Yep.
But then where do they go? Where do they go from
How do we
here?
do that process? That's what I've been doing. So
you bought the home for $250. You're going to sell it for $380.
Yep.
But the house you want to buy is $550.
Yeah, even so. But now, depending on the market they're in or where they want to go, and we got to look around. But like when I'm pulling up active listings in an area and a buyer tells me they want to be 475 to 550 and they need X amount of square feet and a pool, and only 3 listings come up, and we're talking about it, and I go over to talk to them at their house, and all of a sudden those 3 listings are pending and there might be 2 new ones. Here's what you got to do. I can negotiate you a lease back where your house closes and you can stay in the home for about 30, 60 days. Most buyers are okay with that in this market. And then, or you've got to qualify to buy without selling.
Right.
So they would talk to you about that, and you could do that. And you've got recasting, not refinancing. Yep. So let's say they put 5% down and they get the new home, and then when the other home sells, they got another $200,000 to throw at it.
Right. I can recap most of my mortgages. Almost all my mortgages, with the exception of VA, allow me to recast, meaning you got into the house, you only had 5% to put down because all your equity is in the other property. And you couldn't make an offer on the new one because nobody would accept a contingency.
Yep.
Right? So you bought the new one, put 5% down. Now you're sitting on $100,000 from the sale of your previous home. You can put that down on your new mortgage, get rid of the private mortgage insurance, and I'll reduce the payment to reflect the new balance.
And what I'm doing to help these sellers see what's out there is we'll go look at what they want. I put them in the car with one of my buyer's agents, Nanette or Mike, and they go out and say, all right, I want to see 475 to 550. They can see, okay, this is what's out there. I like this. Okay, let's do the lease back. Because if things don't work out and your house is under contract, you can't just tell the buyer, oh, wait, I need you to wait another 60 days. They're not going to do that. They got moving trucks coming. They might have a house they're selling. And so you want to be ready. You want to know what's out there, or you got to prepare to move in with the in-laws or the outlaws for a little bit. So we try and coordinate that as best we can. Buying without selling the old one is the best way to do it, because this market's hot enough.
If you can
I can get your other home sold.
Qualify for it, that's the way to do it. The other thing you can do is put a lease on your current home.
Leapfrog.
You can put a lease on your current home in order to buy the new one, so you don't have to qualify for 2 mortgages. But you do have to have a bona fide lease, and the lender's going to require proof of deposit into your account.
Yep.
So if you have those things, you can't show it as profit, but you can wash it.
Well, the Leapfrog program you came up with, all the things you and I have learned from real estate over 30 years of being in it. And that's a great way to do it. Move out of that house. You got a great interest rate on it. It was your primary. You've been there for some years. The mortgage is 25 years old. You're building equity pretty good. You know it. It's in good shape. You rent that one. Go buy the new one.
Yep. And we do that 5 times.
5 times. You go to $2.5 million in real estate.
And making $15,000 to $20,000 in rental income. So you know what? I got to tell you, this has been a great show. And I appreciate you joining me for these last 3 segments. It's been a lot of fun. If you have questions for Cleve, you can reach him at 407-352-8118. If you have questions for the Lone Ranger, you pick up the phone and you call me at 407-706-3313, 407-706-3313, or go to my website at webringyouhome.com. When we come back from the next segment, I want to talk to you a little bit more about my special programs for law enforcement, first responders, and healthcare workers. And we'll be back in 5 minutes with more of the Lone Ranger Radio Show. Thanks, Cleve.
Thanks for having me, Bruce.